And so we see that there is this new, in our market, a new type of real estate, which is the iBuyer type of program. And that is where the people come and offer, hey, I'll give you cash. You can stay for 30 days, but here's your cash. This is how much you're getting. And, make it super simple. Nobody's coming through your house. There's no hassle. And super simple. And people are like, woo, I have cash. I mean, this is
They're
awesome.
offering me all this money.
Yeah.
Like, what does this letter say? Like, I just got a letter the other day in the mail. We'll cover that. It has a whole, we'll come by your house. Right. And the whole, I guess the tag thing, or motivation, if you're considering selling your home and do not want the hassle and expense of preparing your home for market, such as fixing roofs, replacing water heaters, you might be a good fit. And I feel like a lot of these investor letters, so there's the investor pool, right? And then there's the iBuyers, and we'll talk a lot more about them, is this whole notion that we're going to give you cash for a quick close and take the stress out of it. Well, there's always going to be stress. Like, I think that it's just a misnomer that, you wave a magic wand and everything's done, right? The seller still has to move. The seller still has to find a place to live. And the idea that cutting out putting it on the open market somehow saves you money over what you'd spend in commission. I think that with both of us, what we show our clients is we actually add value because we keep your money in the pocket. What the investor group does, the reason they're making you an offer off market is because they want a deal.
Well, totally. And so that's the part where we have to really, talk about how much is inconvenience worth. Because in our market, the sales that we've been tracking, we see that some of the inconvenience that people are allowing these offers to come in, they're leaving $200,000 on the table. And
so they could have paid traditional real estate fees of, let's just say, $40,000 at a $1 million price point.
Right.
Or
right.
they can sell to a cash buyer,
right,
but give up $200,000.
Give up $200,000. So so we've been tracking this because this is what we do. We're engulfed in data because that's how we give our clients the best service and help people price properly. It's not something that just happens with a click of a button. We don't use algorithms and I mean we dive deep on each neighborhood, and so we track some of these different sales that are starting to happen, and so we see them. And then we can track how much, the people were given for their home. And that is how we're coming up with the numbers that are significantly less than if they had come to the open market.
Exactly.
So then what an iBuyer does is they take that property that they've paid cash for when the sellers have moved out and are on their way and happily spending their cash. Then the iBuyer comes and basically resells the home. And they know that they have, plenty of equity and plenty of money that they can price it much higher and then still continue to collect offers and get more money.
What's so interesting as I've seen some of these net sheets that the seller gets. So you'll have a sales price, let's just use $1 million because that's a fun round number, right? Yeah. And built in to what the seller actually walks away from are things like all of the repairs. So let's say that iBuyer said that there's $15,000 in repairs needed. So they deduct that from the $1 million. And then they say, well, we're going to have to resell it. So there's a 2 or 3% commission in there because when the iBuyer resells it, they're going to have to pay a buyer's agent commission. So the truth is that all of it's built in because at the end of the day, it's a business. These iBuyers are corporate entities. They're hedge funds, there's all kinds of different business models built around it. But at the end of the day, they're there to make money. Yeah. And what's so fun to show clients, I think, when you sit down and talk to them about is, well, you can get a cash buyer and walk away with $900,000, or I can put it on the open market and you can walk away with $950,000. So which way do we want to go? Like at the end of the day, I'm working for my seller to get them the most money.
Right. And that's really the premise of a realtor. Like, we work for the seller's net profit. That's our greatest objective, is to obviously perform amazing customer service, but our goal is to get them the highest profit. That's why we, spend so much effort and time, to stage it and clean it or curb appeal or whatever the element, that the home needs to get it the most. And so the iBuyer is a corporate entity, and they have a, required net profit that they have to achieve. And so that's the difference, where they, are just basically paying for that, discounting the ability to move the seller out quickly and give the seller cash, and the seller doesn't have to have people through their houses.
And I think the important thing there is if that's ever the seller's objective, because there are real times that, like, you need to move and they need to move quick.
Yeah.
Your real estate agent should have a strategy for you in their back pocket of, here are the things, if that's what your goal is, here are the things how I can achieve that for you without giving up a convenience fee of $100,000 or $200,000.
Yeah, because what we've been seeing is, and this is, across multiple states as we track the fees, but the fees average between 10 and 16% is what we see.
And that's not even including all the closing costs, right?
Right. Those are just the fees. And so, so people that are very, shell-shocked about, paying commissions or whatever, this is definitely a much bigger hit to their net profit.
Yeah, so one of the things I think it's important for sellers to know is when they get these letters, when they get the phone calls, I've probably received 5 phone calls in the last 30 days. I have a buyer for your home, is to pick up the phone and call your trusted real estate broker.
Right.
Or call Kim and I, and we can help you through the process of, is that truly in your best interest to sell? Recent stats said in the first half of this year, 1 in 6 homes in the country were sold to an investor.
I saw that.
So, and 25% of those were iBuyers. The other 75% were the smaller mom and pop flippers, local builders, that business model. And then there's some bridge loans and some other financial services in there that buy homes and then resell them.
Right.
But all that being said, I feel like people are so inundated with this idea and this marketing ploy around, it's such a hassle to sell your house. Right. And it really doesn't have to be. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be emotional and there's not work to be done.
Right.
But your trusted real estate agent is going to be able to minimize that for you. And if you're finding that they're not, then call Kim or I.
Right. Because we have a great plan, and we kind of work with the scenario because everyone is different, like what they're able to accomplish and, you know, things like that. I've had people live in the home while we show it for 4 days and
or one day. I mean, I have had it where literally they said, I can make myself scarce for this 8-hour block.
Right.
That is the only time I'm going to let people in.
Right.
And I'll come up with a marketing plan and make that happen. And we still sell their homes and we still get multiple offers.
Yep.
So we can get it done.
Right. I know. We're going to have to write a book one day.
I know.
Of all the
I know.
interesting ways that we've had to
Just don't fall for the corporate language, this idea that a lot of the marketing that you hear out there, that your real estate agent costs you money. It's the inverse.
Yeah.
And if you're not talking with someone who's in the market every day and someone who's doing a lot of these transactions and working with fixer-uppers and estate sales, et cetera, you may have that impression. And these numbers are big. I don't think a lot of, people have been in their home for 40, 50 years understand how much money. I mean, they bought their homes for the last one I sold, $64,000. And he didn't want me to list it for over $1 million because I was like, well, it's going to sell for 1.2, 1.3. I think this should be the list price. And he's like, absolutely no. Like, he just could. And so we listed it like $989.
Right.
And because you can't list it too low either, but they just were overwhelmed by that's what property values were. And so what I get concerned about is people being taken advantage of, equity being stolen from, that they need that for, well, it's the property owner's equity. They should fully get to enjoy that.
Right. And to understand, all those elements of it. So I think that's it. Just to understand, you know, what is your inconvenience worth? It can be worth a lot, especially in the market where it is still a seller's market with a lot of competition for your home. And sometimes too, just even coming to the open market, the buyers that want the home are the ones that actually sometimes write the best offer because they want a home that they can call their own and fix it up or whatever, turn it into their own abode.
Yeah, and that's when you have the buyers who can see past the cosmetic things, and that for the most part, most things can be fixed with time and money, right? That it's not someone else. It's not a flip. It's not, it's not the white gray cabinets and white quartz and, and that's not what that homeowner wanted.
Yeah.
Buying a fixer upper is a great opportunity to build your own equity and put in the design you want. And again, Kim and I love doing this stuff, so we can help you with that. Or, trusted designers, even if you are not a handy person, not to be scared off by a fixer upper. Because for the most part, most people are going to hire professionals to do the work anyway. So it's not like you need to know how to use a skill saw.
Right. Exactly.
You can. I mean, that's helpful.
Right.
But you don't have to.
Right. You don't have to rewire your fire alarms. There are people that do that. So yeah, we can definitely help with that.